Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Thursday morning trading session. So close to the weekend, I can almost taste it. My nice quiet weekend is turning out to be another busy weekend. I hate busy weekends. Oh well. Um, for those of you new to the trading room, welcome. I see a couple new names here this morning. What you're looking at here is, of course, the diversified trading system, and the way I have my charts laid out, I've got the Hawk Scalper here in the top left, Falcon Swing Trader top right, Eagle Trend Trader bottom left, and the Raptor on the bottom right. Many of you new folks are going to be Raptor owners, so I will be focusing a little bit extra attention perhaps on the Raptor. The charts that you are watching here are the NASDAQ market. I've also got crude oil and the euro dollar on my other monitor. But please don't be shy about requesting a market or asking questions. If today is anything like it's been the last few days, questions will be most welcome. All right, yesterday, the market did end up going sideways as we suspected. There was a decent rally up. The market retraced pretty much the morning gains, but never really got outside that trading range. A slight break through the overnight, but it wasn't sustained. And now here we are, kind of inside that trading range yet again. This is our first in-sync signal here on the Eagle, and I'm debating taking it. But we do have an opportunity here for a second push entry opportunity. Gosh, we're only 3 minutes into the session. Can I cover it down there? That's an expensive one. Yeah, head back down here so I don't have to make this decision. Normally I like to give the market a couple of minutes to settle in, let the fur fly and the dust settle before I actually go and commit to anything. But we do have our red bar buy signal, and I suppose, if we do consider this, here, I'll submit this. If we do consider this to be yesterday's trading range, well, here's the breakout, here's the retest, isn't it? Maybe the thing to do would be not to enter so much here at the hash mark, but above the high of the trading range. All right, let's leave this alone here for just a moment. If we come back with another bull bar, it will be an easier buy. And like I said, it's still all very early. Elmer is asking, Eric, is the first signal, in-sync signal, not a sell signal? No, Elmer, it's not. And the reason being, our band is bullish. So when we're looking at that first in-sync signal on the Eagle, we're looking for in-sync, we want, in the case of a bullish band, we want a buy signal. In the case of a bearish band, we would like a sell signal. Right, so here was the sell signal. Here is the buy signal. This morning, even though it is tailing off a little bit, we have a bullish band, so I'm more interested in the buying opportunity. Even though at this point in time, the market is heading lower. if you are short, don't panic. You know, if you did take the signal short, don't panic. It looks like it's working out pretty well for you. I might recommend bringing your stops in a little bit. See, this is why a trading friend of mine always used to say, never trust a breakout. So, once again, here's the trading range that we're looking at. How many traders do you think tried to buy the breakout here? Just simply threw an order in above the high, 56.28, let's buy it. Well, I bet there were a few. In fact, the way the market has come down here, I'd say there were more than a few. The problem, of course, with trying to trade a breakout is that if the market is in a trading range, kind of this top quarter, top third is where the sellers are hanging out, and this bottom quarter, bottom third is where the buyers are hanging out. The middle, of course, is a relatively balanced market, but watch what happens as we get back down toward the lower end of the sideways trading zone. We may well just see some buying come back. Which is why I recommended, if you find yourself short on the Eagle, at least run a break-even stop. Or just take the profit. You know, if we are in a trading range, it's always a good idea to take profit. It's never a good idea to try to run out a market in a trading range. Now, no sooner have those words left my mouth that we'll see the floor fall out of the NASDAQ here and the market just plummet lower. It wouldn't be the first time. That's one thing about trading is it is a humbling profession. The moment you think you know what you're doing, the market will tell you, no you don't. See, what did I tell you? Stinkers. All right, well, there's a very pronounced move. Elmer is saying here, I shouldn't have taken profit that early. You know what, folks? You can never beat yourself up about your trading decision. If you had a good reason for doing what you did, then don't feel bad about it. The only time I feel bad about you know, leaving money on the table or incurring a loss is if I panicked. You know, if I'm trading from the hip, if I'm not making clear decisions about my trades, that's when I feel bad about it. So if you took profit because you hit a pain threshold, and by that I mean everybody has a certain dollar amount that they don't want to lose. You know, if the market's up, for some people it's $100. I knew a fellow, he was a doctor who was a trader, and you would think, oh man, the guy's a doctor. You know, he'll have high risk tolerances, he's got lots of money to play with. Nope, $200. If he got $200, that was it. See you later. For me, it's when the market starts to breach $300 and $400. Then I don't care how much further it goes. Just give me my $300 or $400. I'm good with that. I did a silver trade recently. I cashed out with $3,000, and had I held on, I would have been up 6. But you don't know, right? We make our best guesses, but you think if I knew the market was going to fall another $3,000, I wouldn't have held on? Of course. Yeah, like Steve says, you can't go broke taking profits, and some people will argue that point, but there's nothing like putting profits in your account to make you feel good. It's like Ray Burke always used to say, trading the left side of the chart is easy. Trading the right side, that's a little bit more difficult. For you Raptor traders, we did get a very clean number 2 soft edge sell signal, and you can see with very nice results. Not to worry, we will get more than one opportunity today. The market does seem to be loosening up a little bit compared to what we have been seeing. And now you can see we're back near the lows of this trading range, and lo and behold, we've got some buying going on. It's still a little too early to say whether it's a buyer's market or seller's market, or just a sideways market. Obviously, we've had a decent move to the short side, so I may be inclined to give the sellers a little preference. We do have a macro pullback here in the hawk, and it is a valid signal, by the way, folks. The reason I'm a little hesitant on it is not because it's not a good signal, but I got to cover the trade way up there. And I'm trying to hold out for a better setup, but I don't know, maybe this is all I'm going to get this morning. Excuse me. Well, maybe I should throw a trade on there, and I will leave it out as a runner, and I'll do the second push entry opportunity, and there you go. So with the second push entry, all that means is I've allowed the signal to engage. So we got the warning dot, we got the triangle hash mark, we have the arrow printing, which tells us that we've traded below the hash mark. And you can see shortly after that, prices flinched and they started heading higher. Well, that gives me the current limit of the buying and selling. So for the sake of a tick or two, I can short below the low of that bar rather than take the trade right on the hash mark. And it's slowly working itself into a 4-arrow consolidation. This is going to be arrow number 3. That's about to print. There's arrow number 3. And I could have shorted from here, but I'm kind of doing the same thing. And let's see if there's more buying here at this low. The hash mark is only a suggested entry. If you're more comfortable drawing a trend line and saying, oh, I want to enter below the trend line, or even maybe drawing a trend line like that, although that kind of spoils the trade. You're not going to wait to enter way down here. Okay, so we're working our 4-arrow consolidation now, and it's all more or less in the same neighborhood. The Falcon turning a little bit more bullish, and the Raptor coming back here to the hard edge. Now our 4th arrow is going to print way up here. Got it. And my entry is still down here. I'm giving up about 4 or 5 ticks just to get entry. And that could be profit, but like I said, the whole trading range idea, see, there's the trading range coming into effect. The buyers trying to push the market up. All right, I'm going to nix this trade right now, and I'm going to deal with Aspen's question in the meantime. Aspen asks, hey, Eric, this whole number 2 signal developed rather quickly. How could I have taken advantage of it? How could I have known that it was forming? All right, well, we have the same kind of thing developing right now, don't we? Where I'm actually anticipating a counter trend signal to develop. Why? How do I know a counter trend signal may print? How do I know I'm not going to get a with trend signal? Well, I very well might get a with trend signal, but 2 components you need for a counter trend signal. First, you need to have a trend. So I think we can say this is a trend, or at least it's enough to qualify as a trend. The big tip-off, however, is going to be the failure to resume the trend, what I refer to as the test of the extreme. In this case, the extreme is the low. Right now, we see the sellers trying to regain the market. Okay, so here's now our sell signal. If the sellers fail to regain the market, then prices will turn and head higher. We have the same thing happening here. In fact, this was your little test of the extreme. You could have considered that your short signal. but the Raptor allowed for a little bit more of a test. Probably, well, no, I'm not going to say because this was pre-market, the Raptor doesn't really care. Okay, and oh dear, I'm not liking the way that's shaping up. I'm going to bring my stops in here. So whenever you see a failure swing, I suppose that's what most traders refer to it as. Then you'll have a pretty good idea that the market is going to head in the opposite direction. Come on, just give me one more bar. So even though the Raptor is designed to prompt you, it's to your advantage to try to anticipate. So if you see, as we did here, a market that's in trend, and then all of a sudden the trend is struggling, and you keep coming back, it can no longer resume the uptrend. You should be thinking, oh, maybe it's going to try to go counter trend. But remember, you need first to have a trend. You know, if the market is looking very, very choppy and sideways, that's not going to help you much. The other clue is that very often the trading band becomes very broad. The nice thing about trading, of course, is that you have all this information at your disposal. You can roll back into your chart and you can look at certain situations and you can say, oh, okay, here we have a downtrend. The market is struggling to resume the trend, and now I'm getting a buy signal. Oh, there's my number 2. Okay, so I gauged that one correct. You know, here is a failure that did not print. Why did it not print? Well, maybe because the Raptor didn't consider this to be enough of a trend. Note it did print one up here after a very extended retest. This being the high, very, very extended retest, the market comes back, produces a counter trend signal. But look at what preceded it. What a monster trend. Now here is a counter trend signal that even though the Raptor printed it, technically it met the qualifications. I much prefer to see a retest that comes up short. So I like to see a retest that fails to recapture the high. Even though technically speaking, sometimes the market can breach ever so slightly and still fail. This is less common and frankly a little less reliable. All right, so I hope that answers your question, Aspen. Try not to be, too frustrated. There is a short learning curve. You do need to become familiar with these things. But just try to anticipate. And you know what? The market's really giving her great guns here. So I'm going to try to run this out, seeing how I only have the one contract. Play what we refer to as the right edge game. Just pull your chart over and go through bar by bar and see if you can't spot the formations before they develop. Oh, Eric. Oh, Eric. Oh. Deleted my profit target just in time. Heaven forbid I should get my profit. Well, still holding on. But I might might not be able to ride out this swing. Doggone it. Why didn't I just leave my profit target in? Oh well. Because I always think I can make the market run out more. Way to go, Gary. Oh, and Aspen, nicely done. Aspen says, I'm short that number one signal. Well done. Got my fingers and toes crossed that they're not going to look too far back here. Gary knocking it out of the park here says, just hit $6,017 on 100,000 Top Step Trader combine. Well done, Gary. Gary says, I've got to trade one more day to finish, since I only traded 9 days. Tough trading personal account, but Top Step Trader is fun. Yeah, way to go. Mr. Buckaloo asking, isn't that secondary support line, this pink one right here, a good exit, a good profit-taking area? Yeah, definitely. And that's actually where my profit target was before I deleted it. See, when you guys and girls make a mistake, nobody sees it. But when I make a mistake, everybody sees it. And just to add a little insult to injury, all these are recorded and put up on YouTube. Oh well. Come on, give me one more push. You owe me one more push. Yes. It's a G-rated program. Better keep it clean. Oh, thanks, Keith. Keith says, factory orders report at the top of the hour, so another minute for that to come out. The stops aren't break even, so I'm not totally bent about it, but it would have been nice if the market had given me just a little bit more wiggle room. Okay, so now we're coming back, as you can see, with a soft edge buy. So this is one of these tests of the extreme that I told you, where we're actually breaking down a little bit instead of failing early. So if you're going to take the counter trend, you know, it's doable, but maybe we want to wait for a second push. I certainly don't want to go in heavy. You know, maybe I'll extend my stop a little bit.
Order pending.
This would have been a stronger soft edge buy if this low did not violate this low. But the parameters are still being met that are saying, hey, this market wants to go up. We'll see. Counter trend trades are always high risk. Whenever you get a counter trend opportunity, it should give you pause. You should not just, you know, be flipping on your trades. And I normally suggest profit targets. Wow, Gary, that's an endorsement. You should send that to Adam. And thank you for the compliment. I'm very proud of the Ultimate Support and Resistance Suite. Gary writes, I used your ultimate support and resistance levels almost exclusively to pick entries now and targets on crude oil and the NASDAQ. I know you train on the birds and the raptor, but these things are incredible. Struggled on the top step trading till I went back to using them from several years ago. Not sure why I quit using them. Indeed. I know, they work great. And like I said, I'm very proud of them, and thank you for the kind words. So this whole 5610 area looking to be very, very popular. We just took a long here at 5611. Trying to get back to the hard edge. Oh, don't you stop now. Absolutely, Gary says if you took the NASDAQ, if you look at the NASDAQ 5621 and took profit at 5609, so that's breaking the median line and taking profit down here at the secondary support line, he said you'd be done for the day. Then short at the blue at 56.15 and get out 56.04, Gary says you'd be done at the day. Yes, sir. Absolutely, you would. I always like when the signals print at one of the lines as well. It does give me a little bit more confidence. Yeah. Tony extending his congratulations to you, Gary. Tony says if you made your top step combine in this market, you're one heck of a trader, that's for sure. Aspen asking, Eric, what is that? Please explain. Okay, well, we're talking about here the Ultimate Support and Resistance Suite. Those are the support and resistance lines that are forecast for each day's trading. We'll go here to the Falcon. It has a little bit less on it. So the gold line here is your median line. The line above is primary resistance. The blue line below is primary support. These kind of set the tone for the day. These, in a way, they tend to be the three strongest lines. So once the market starts breaching these lines, we anticipate there's going to be some follow through. And there's typically a reaction around these lines as well. Omar El Tuki, years ago when he was still doing the Forex for Indicator Warehouse, always liked to use these lines as a confirmation of a signal as well as profit-taking objectives. So what Gary was talking about was here on the Raptor, we had a short signal on the breach. I know this is the Falcon, but the Falcon and the Raptor produce signals at the same time, usually. On the Raptor, we had a short signal that coincided with this Falcon signal, and it also breached the median line. Now, when you breach a median line, or the primary resistance, or the primary support, typically the market will move at least two zones. So what Gary was saying is, when it signaled and broke here, he was looking for profit down here. And that's exactly what happened. The market came down, hit the profit objective, and then started reacting. Came back, hit the primary support zone, and Gary, being a little bit more aggressive, may have tried to short here with a limit order rather than take it on the hash mark. But it fell off too and hit the secondary support zone. And now we're looking at another reaction. I think we just took profit on our Raptor trade. Yes, we did. Hooray for us. And you'll see that it also coincided with the primary support. So if you're ever at a loss if you're trying to run out a trade, let's say you caught a bit of a runner and you're looking, where can I take profit next? Well, you can always consider the next support zone. Or if the market is making a decent run, it's unlikely to move more than two, certainly not more than three zones before it produces some sort of reaction. So it kind of gives you a little bit of a gauge. Like I say, if you're totally at a loss, where you may place a profit-taking order, it's something to consider. Gary says, I bet you $5 we go back to 56.21 quarter. No, I'm not taking that bet because I think you're right. Way to go, Gary. Gary says, took 2 off at 56.15. That was the profit objective here. And he says holding the rest of the position for 56.20 and 3/4. I'm going to get a little bit of a hiccup here because naturally, since this is a primary support line, we'll see a little bit of a reaction. But yeah, I can see it probably wanting to head higher from here. Why not? I'm content with my profit though. The last couple of days I have let so many trades get away by trying to run them out, and I know better. I know just take the profit when you have it. Or at least that's what tends to suit me better. We are all different, and ultimately, at the end of the day, it is your money. So you need to do what is best for you. Nicely done, Tony. Tony says, got me some EMD. That's the mid-cap S&P. After waiting through some sideways portion of the trade, well done. That's always the tough part, isn't it? When you're in a trade, you know it's working out, but just hanging in until the market comes around to your way of thinking. David asked, Eric, is there a way to run replays with the Raptor? Whenever I try, I get a message that says to add more days of data because NinjaTrader only downloads 1 day. Yes, David. I won't do it right now, but before we close up shop today, please remind me, and I will show you how to do that. You can download as much market replay data as you want. There's no limit to it. Okay, so here we go. We're getting a few follow-up signals. We have produced the first micro macro cross now in the hawk. I do anticipate one more pullback here. So if you are looking at this first micro macro cross, you may actually have to cover the trade a little bit deeper, even though, at least if you're going all in, all out. you don't, the market doesn't need to move all that far to get your profit target. The Falcon also producing a trend change signal, but here too, this is a very weak attempt on the part of the sellers. Really? 1 bar? That's all you're going to get? Doesn't seem likely, does it? Here's a little tip for those of you wanting to do market replay and such. If you go into your indicator window and you choose your tool of choice, whether it be the Raptor, Hawk, Falcon, or Eagle, you can turn off your bar or your arrows. And what this does, it's going to make it more difficult for you to cheat because the arrows print early, right? They'll print in the margin. But now you can, just grab your bar and you can go through bar by bar and you can see, oh, okay, well, here's a signal. Is that a signal I should take? And you can play the what if game. What if I did take that trade? And what if I did set it up like this? Did it work out? Why not? It's not just that the trade failed, but could I have done something to make the trade work out? Was my stop too tight? Was my stop too loose? And that's really how you learn. The market replay is great, but what sometimes ends up happening is you get tired watching it real time, and so you speed it up, and then it tends to become a little bit more of a video game. If you can contain yourself and actually play it out in something resembling real time, then you'll probably be okay. I didn't have enough data for the lines to plot. That's why I was getting the error message. All right, Gary, within striking distance of his profit objective. Come on, man, one more tick. And we are producing another counter trend signal here, and it is looking like the market is strong. But of course we are up against the median line, and we may see a little profit taking or perhaps another retest. It's not to say this is not a valid signal. Look, we could do a second push on this one. I would recommend trying to cover the trade down here, however. But I think we'll just kind of hold out for the next signal. Maybe I can cover it a little better, that's all. We still haven't left yesterday's trading range, by the way. We are still retracing yesterday's action. Prices have not, even though we've seen decent moves up and down, prices have not deviated from yesterday's highs or lows. What I'm holding out for is I think the market is definitely bullish at this point. What I would like is a better buying opportunity. So here on the Raptor, I'm not all that keen on necessarily getting in early. This was a place to buy down here, which we did, took our profit. But if the clouds are going to cross over, what is likely to happen? If we're changing direction here and the clouds are crossing, what is likely to happen, class? What are we likely to see? Anybody? Cloud crossover requires two things to happen. One of them being the clouds crossing over. What's the other thing that I'm looking for? And if you're stumped, there's a cloud crossover right here. Tony says, yo toe. You need to improve your typing skills, Tony. That's right, Mark, a reversal. Look at what happened here, right? Clouds cross, market pulls back, we get the trend resumption. Clouds haven't crossed yet, but we are in that neighborhood. I would like to hold out for a little bit of a reversal, perhaps a chance to buy at a better price, and then we'll come out here, we'll produce a number one cloud crossover signal. And that will confirm that the buying should continue. Yeah, way to go, Gary. Good call. Gary says, I took 56.20 half. It's starting to struggle. Well, they came within a tick of your profit objective, so nothing wrong with that. And Mark, if you're watching your point of control, I bet you we're not too far off of it, given that the market is kind of struggling a little bit. That would be my guess. Somewhere around the 15-19 area. Mark says, we're right on it. You're right. Hooray for me. I mentioned it before, but that is one of the benefits of day trading, I think, is that you can actually watch the price flow. You get a feel for how active the market is. Oh, thanks, Mark. Mark says point of control at 56.20. So right where we're kind of holding up a little bit. Yeah, it's not that it's a bad trade, it's just that my stops have got to be so deep. Well, they're still pressing. Maybe they're not going to give me that retracement that I was looking for. See, I outsmarted myself again. Oh, they're just going great guns today. Look at that. Oh well, not the first move I missed, and certainly won't be the last. Let's see, just out of curiosity, if there was enough there to get to the profit objective. Just about. There we go. Just gained our profit on that trade as well. I guess I should have had a little bit more faith in the signal. So the cloud's giving a better looking cross now. Not to worry, we should still get a number one cloud crossover signal here. All is not lost. All right, so we are hovering near the highs of the morning. You can see the open, topped out 56.26 We're right back in that neighborhood around 56.25. Certainly close enough for the sellers to get excited about the proposition of shorting. So here's that pullback that I've kind of been holding out for. And it's likely to pull back here to the hard edge and that primary support line, which could bring us back to 56.15. And then, of course, 56.10 was a rather influential number today as well. I don't think I'd like to see it pull back quite that far. That would be a little bit much. Just curious if anything else is going on while we wait for that signal to develop. Russell's saying the YM, the mini Dow, has a good pullback leg going on. Hold on one second. I will attempt to pull that up for you so we can all see. Yes, it does, Russell. And you know, funny thing, it seems the YM and the Nasdaq out of sync with each other again, which is not usually the case, is it? The YM a little subdued this morning. Also a very good market. Very good market to follow. But right now, we're just kind of stuck here watching the grass grow. Hey, way to go, Mark. Mark says 3 trades, 1 in each of the birds for a grand total of $840 for the morning. Nicely done, my friend. I'm done, and now a spectator unless something else great presents itself. Not a bad trading day for a change. You know what? I'm glad that the markets are kind of loosening up a little bit because it has been really tough slogging the last couple of weeks. The market not cooperating. Just tiny little chippy kind of moves. Not a whole lot of follow through on anything. Okay, here come the buyers again. Well, it's not the pullback I was looking for, I'll tell you that. We do have a warning dot, but no signal. My concern is that the bulls are too strong and they're just going to bolt from here without generating signal. Well, we do have a very sloppy trend line touch signal. We actually didn't touch the trend line here on the Falcon. Unfortunately, you would have to cover this trade as deep as you possibly could manage, at least to start. Yeah, Tony says, I printed a signal there. You know what it is, Tony? Our our clocks, our computers, our data feed, even if it's out a few nanoseconds, that may be enough just to alter the programming ever so slightly. All right, but will this now be a little itty-bitty test of the extreme? Like I said, I'm still bullish, but I'm looking for a little bit of a pullback here. I'm just too much of a chicken this morning. Yes, those are clucking noises you hear. um, just for a change of pace, here is crude oil on the Raptor. We did produce a hard edge bounce signal here that I missed, but we're getting a follow-up signal, which is encouraging. So you could take that on the second push. Again, the second push just means that we allowed the signal to engage and then react. We let it flinch so we know where the buyers and sellers are at. Crude oil just kind of hovering by the entry signal. I would have thought, well, maybe not so much the NASDAQ. I bet you the Dow and that the S&P may slip a little lower if, in fact, crude oil does tail off from here. Come on. Come on. You know you want to. Well, not yet. All right, well, we'll put that back on the shelf for now and let them sort themselves out. Looking like a little, like I said, almost like a little itty bitty double top here. Actually, with the crude oil trade, I think I'm going to get a little bit more aggressive with my stops as well. Let's take a look at our options. Ooh, parabolics are right there. Oh, I see. Yeah, we're right back here by the lows. Maybe I will take the parabolic. I know it's very, very tight, but hey, this is crude oil. And if this is in fact a reaction here, I may be better off taking the early stop out. I could also use these bars here. You see how these bars all have little wicks to them? I could offer up a couple extra ticks and cover above there. That's $100. That's not too terrible.
Order canceled.
Okay. Tony's asking, my crude oil chart is linked. What's it linked to? Well, it's linked to my crude oil Falcon, Hawk, and Eagle. All right, so I've got tagged on that little reverse. Way to go, Tony. Tony says, just took a mid-cap scalp, and that put you into four figures for the day. Nicely done. Well done, indeed. All right, I may as well clear this because I'm not going to take that buy. This now looking like a possible soft edge sell. You see, we're holding here at the highs. We're not really getting much in the way of follow through yet.
Order pending. Order pending.
Also got a bit of a sideways drift going on here. I don't know if we're going to get a 4-arrow consolidation out of this. Oh dear, it's starting to look like I bailed on my crude oil trade a little bit too early. Come back with a hard edge sell. Oh, come back here.
Order pending.
Okay, if they're going to retreat a little bit, I'll be able to adjust my entry so I'm below this low.
Order canceled.
There we go. Let's take it below that low. We'll cover up there.
Order pending.
All right then, well, they're not quite ready to commit to that just yet, so we'll leave that on the shelf for now.
Order pending.
Here we go. Okay, and we're kind of holding up here at the low of the day on crude oil. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're testing the low of the day now on crude oil.
Order filled.
Come on. Give me something resembling some follow through. There we go. Oh, spoke too soon. Oh, come on. Give me a break here. If I can get this bar here to form lower, I will take my break even. There we go. They owe me one more push lower here, but I'm still waiting on it. Hey,
Order canceled.
what was that? That was mean. I guess natural gas inventory. Somehow that spilled over into the crude oil market. Well, that was very nasty of them, I have to say. All right, we're going to close up the session here in a moment, but I'm going to show you the market replay feature. So when you do your market replay, first you need to load your, bear with me here a second. Here we go. Download replay data. So you go to your file, go to your utilities, make sure your data feed is on, and you want to download replay data. Now from here, you're going to select what market you want to download your data for. In this case, let's do the NASDAQ. This is going to be your end date. In other words, you can't download today's data yet, so the best we can do is yesterday's data. So just click OK, and then you'll see here in the bottom margin that you're downloading your replay data for the June contract for the NASDAQ. And once that's done, okay, so now you can disconnect your data feed and you can reconnect to market replay. I hope this works. Sometimes I actually end up having to close Ninja and restart Ninja. Okay, while that's loading, you're going to have your little market replay data player. Okay, so the reason nothing's plotting is the start date is June 20th, 2008. Well, obviously the June 2017 contract didn't even exist at that time. So let's say you want to replay the last couple of days. So let's say we're going to go, okay, it's a good idea to let everything load before you start making too many changes. Come on, work with me here. So let's say we're going to load from the 1st until the 4th. And why is the Raptor not painting correctly? There we go. Just had to reboot the template. Okay, and now it will play from May 1st until May 4th. So you just hit your play button, and it's going to start at 9:01 p.m., which is midnight New York time here on the West Coast. And so you can actually scroll the time ahead as well. So you can pause it. You can see 9:44, and you can bring it up here to the market open or close to it. And now you can press your play button, and of course you can accelerate it as well. This is what I was talking about. You can make it play faster, and that's okay, but don't get it to play too fast if you're going to do market replay, because it will train you to think the bars need to unfold this quickly, which of course they don't. Short of the market replay, like I said, the other thing you can do is you can just pull your chart over and just scroll bar by bar, and then make your trading decisions as your signals develop. But like I said, it's a good idea to eliminate your arrows, to turn your arrows off so that they don't give you a false prompt. All right? David asks, what happens when downloading the data if there's a rollover into the next contract month? Is the downloader programmed to download the previous contract month? You can only download one contract month, David. You can't download, March and December and last September. You have to download those separately and play them all forward separately. I'm assuming you're only looking to replay a handful of days, not the entire duration of the contract. Although, you can do that if that's what you want. But no, it's specific. The download information is specific to the contract that you are downloading. So when you go, once again, when you go here to your market replay, and you go to your utilities, and you're downloading your replay data, it's not going to let me because I'm connected. So I need to connect to a live data feed. And then, is it going to let me do this? There we go. Then when you download your data, you need to choose what contract you want to download the data for. Right? It will not download the data for everything in my list. It will only download the data for the contract I specify. Let's say I want the June E-mini. And this is the last date that it will download the data for. And if that's good, then I click OK and allow it to download, and then I can go into the market replay. David asks, it was just when the rollover occurs, I wondered what data would be downloaded. Well, you'll download all the data for the life of that contract, regardless of when the rollover is. Some people choose to roll early, some people choose to roll late. But it's, like I say, the data is contract specific, if that makes sense. Right, boys and girls, I will see you again tomorrow for Friday's session. We'll talk to you then. Bye for now.